All right, well, good morning. How was last night?
It's good. Beat that weather.
It was beautiful, yes. Yeah. Was there a lot of late nights? Was everybody late night? Heather, I heard you were a late night.
Early morning.
8 o'clock?
I was all day.
Yeah, I think this was the first year where my wife came home and she said, Kennedy's out with friends. My boys are gone. I've had a terrible week. We're just going to put the candy outside and we're turning all the lights off. And we're just going to watch TV and don't talk to me. I said, yes, ma'am. Let's do that. So that's what we did. And it was hopefully refreshing for her. Yeah, so I have a few things to talk about today. We are continuing Matthew chapter 5. We are at the end of 5. We got 2 more weeks here. And I was, earlier in the week, I was asked by Richard Johnson, if some of you know him, at Rebuild Ministry. He said, Matt, I need you to come and do a Bible study for my teenagers, for the youth that comes in. I mean, I haven't been there in years. And I said, sure. I used to know the kids that he would teach, but it's been a few years since I've been there. We were talking about what he's teaching, where he's at, Mark and different things. And then his wife was talking to me and she said, why don't you just do like a Q&A on all of Mark? I was like, okay. That used to be like my favorite thing to do, is I would show up to Crossroads and Alex would have a whole group of students from all over the country. And I would go in and I love doing this. I would sit down and I would say, you can ask any question from the Bible that you want. And I loved it. It was like invigorating to me. And we would talk about verses and we talk about different things. And then Alex, I don't know why he did this, but every year he would tell his interns to ask the same question for like 5 years in a row. And it's on the passage that we're talking about tonight. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I didn't want to teach Matthew 5 for the longest time because I felt like I talked about it over and over and over. And it's been a few years. And so as I was going through this, I was like, okay, this is great. I can't wait to actually get into this. But one of the things, I wanted to go back to Richard really quick. One of the things that was so impressive was I sat down and he said, all right, guys, this is Matt. I've talked to him about it a little bit, but one of the things that I've taught you that he taught me is how do we read the Bible? Tell him how I've taught you to read the Bible. What are the 4 things that you need to know before reading the Bible? That's what they said. I was like, man, these kids are sophomores.
What was it?
History. Or no, let me start over. It was chill. For you guys, it's chill to remember, right? Culture, context, history, language, right? CCHL, culture, context, history, language. These are 17, 16-year-old, 15-year-olds that were saying this to me. And I've been teaching this to you guys for 20 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is impressive that a teenager will say this to begin with, but that he has been able to teach these kids and they just desire it. They were hungry for it. And so we went on this Q&A, and guess what? We didn't even talk about Mark. We were talking about Genesis. We were talking about the prophets. We were talking about different, like Paul. Like we were all over the place. It was a tremendously fun night for me. I loved it. But let's get into this. And hopefully we can have some questions from you and we can jump into a few other things too. But somebody read to me Matthew 5:38, please.
You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Excellent. Okay. Culture, context, history, language. What just happened here? What did we just read? This is something else that I've taught you for a long time. And if you're new to this, you won't remember. But yeah, what is it?
An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is like the code of Hammurabi.
Oh, Code of Hammurabi. That's very good. Interesting. That's probably in there. Yes, there's a lot of things from the Torah, from the commandments that are in some of that stuff. Good. I don't know. I'd have to go look at that, but that's a great point. Good idea. It is. Okay, perfect. Good job. But coming out of the words of Yeshua, who's saying this, there's a technical term for this. That's what's going on here right now. He's quoting something. Yeah, come on, pull it out. Come on, Corey.
I don't know. Some sort of R means to go back to another passage.
Excellent. Remez. So this is a technical term that Jesus, Yeshua, is doing. He's quoting something, and he's teaching from this passage. Now, what do we have to learn about remez? What do we do when we come across a remez? What are we supposed to do?
Go to AI and ask AI. What is the remez to this passage?
Go to ChatGPT. But what would his audience have done? If you quote a passage, now it's kind of like, for people who are brand new, so if you understand what a remez is. Anybody watch the show Suits? Okay. Suits with Meghan Markle, and this came out like about a decade ago. I'm finally watching it. I was like, no way, I'm not watching Meghan Markle. I can't stand it. But I can't stop watching. That's what we stayed up till midnight watching last night, over and over and over, right? And one of the things that I love about the movie or the show is they quote movie lines throughout the entire show that I know. Maybe some of you, younger people in here don't know these lines, but they're quoting. I'm like, oh my gosh, Andrew, that's him. She's like, I know. But they're quoting these lines over and over and over. And the reason they're quoting them isn't just random, because in the situation they're in, they're quoting another movie and the situation that happened in that movie. And that's what makes the line funny in the moment. And I grew up doing that. That was like high school and college. That's what we did all the time. We would quote movie lines and to see if we get a laugh or a perfect situation, or do you even know this line? We loved it. Doesn't happen too much anymore because there's so many movies, unfortunately. But Yeshua is quoting something, and as soon as he quotes it, the audience, everybody in the audience might go back to ooh, that's from Hammurabi. Or they might be thinking, okay, no, this comes from someplace else. He's quoting something. What is he quoting? If you have a good Bible, you should have a little parentheses next to the passage, or maybe even the verse right next to it.
All Bibles are good.
That's right.
What?
All Bibles are good.
Well, if you have a really good Bible, I should say. Yes, go ahead.
My Bible says Exodus 21:24, Leviticus 24:20, and Deuteronomy 19.
That's a really good. Got them all in there. Excellent. Very good. So Yeshua is quoting a passage of Scripture here. Now, what are we supposed to do when I know that you are about to teach me something and you quote a line? When I grew up in a long time in Christianity, I would read that line and I'm like, oh yeah, that's from the Old Testament. And then I would move on. But when Yeshua is teaching and he quotes a passage, what are the people in the first century, what did they do?
You remember the passage.
They wouldn't just remember the passage. What else would they remember?
Who is being spoken to?
No. Expand on your answer, Walt. They wouldn't just know that line. What would they know?
The entire passage.
The entire passage, right? They would know the entire context of that passage. So you're right on, but they wouldn't just know that one line. They would know what's before that line. They would know what's after that line. And you have to know that because then you understand what the rest of what Jesus is about to say. Now I understand this is what Yeshua is saying because I know the context of the passage.
It's sort of like because the people of the time lived this stuff. They had it memorized. So it'd be sort of like if somebody mentions, if my wife mentions, do you remember when Annalisa fell on her face? And I could say, oh yeah, because I remember the whole incident then. Yeah, it was at the party.
Right, exactly. So you got to like I said, quoting a movie line is you got to understand what's happening in the movie. Yeshua is quoting a passage of Scripture. You got to understand what's happening in the bigger context of Scripture. So let's go to Exodus. What was it? Exodus 21?
21, verse 24.
21, 24. That's where this sentence is. But read all of 24 for us, Izzy. Because that's just a part of the verse, actually. Read all of 24.
Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
I'm sorry. Read the verse before that then.
Okay. But if there is serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
If there is serious injury, you shall then take. Okay. So if I look at that verse right there, I'm like, okay, something physical is going on. And so if I only know those two verses or that verse, then I'm still left with, okay, so if somebody hurts me, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, that means I get to hurt them back, correct? That's what it sounds like. What's the greater context? What's the verse 1 say? Go ahead. Who's saying it? Exodus 20, yes, 21:1.
Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them.
2.
If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the seventh he shall go out free and pay nothing.
Now we're on to something. What's the context of this chapter?
Relationship with the servant.
Servants. So if you read all of chapter 24 or 21, you will recognize that there are these rules that God has put in place that if you take on a bondservant, you take on a slave, you take a servant, that there are rules on how you should treat them over and over and over and how we are supposed to treat people. And this is just one chapter. The rest of the Torah we see over and over and over. God gives us examples. Here's how you are to treat servants. Here are how you are to treat just people in general, your family members. Here's how you treat your in-laws. Here's how you treat your neighbors. Here's how you're to treat your co-workers, your employees, even down to chapter 21. Here's how you treat your servants. There's a code on how you are to treat people fairly. That's very important to God. The way that we treat people is extremely important about that. He cares about that. So now go back to Matthew chapter 5. Somebody read 5:38 through 42, please. Now that we have that context in mind. Who's got me?
You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you not to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let him have your cloak also. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you, and from him who wants to borrow from you, and do not turn away.
Excellent. So the question is, what does it have to, why is he quoting a passage of servanthood and then he's talking about these passages? Because it sounds like here he's talking about being a pacifist, isn't it? Like turn your cheek. If somebody hits you, turn your cheek. Is that what this is all about? Is that what the context of Exodus is? So there's something missing here. We got to get a little bit deeper. So I need 3 volunteers. Kevin, you're going to be 1. Come up. Perfect. Thanks for raising your hand, Kevin. Come on up. I need you, Kevin. Read it again, Danny. No, wait. I'll call you up in just a second. I just one at a time. Yeah, back up. All right. So read the passage again, Danny. Just not the whole passage, just the first one of being slapped.
Oh, you're gonna hit Kevin?
I'm gonna get this out. Let me get this on video.
It's on video already. We're good.
Perfect.
But I tell you not to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also, Kevin.
Excellent. Okay, so Kevin and I are facing each other. Okay, Kevin is a Roman soldier. I am an Israelite. So in Kevin's eyes, what am I?
A dog.
A dog, right? I'm lower than him, right? So what does it say? If somebody hits you where?
In your right cheek.
Where's my right cheek? My right cheek, right, okay.
Oh no, that is right. Sorry, I'm gonna fix that. Everything's back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait, read it again? Yes,
Whoever
if anybody...
slaps you on your right cheek,
Right.
turn the other to him also.
Okay, so my right cheek is where? My right cheek is over here. Okay, so if you're gonna punch me, Kevin, how would you punch me? No, how would you if you really wanted to punch me, and I'm picking on you here because what would you do? You would punch me with what? Which one? That's a jab. I want you to punch me.
Oh, you asking me to punch you?
If you're gonna punch me, you're not gonna throw me with a jab. You're gonna put all your weight into it, and you're gonna use which hand?
My good hand.
Your right hand, right? Your right hand is the hand you're going to use to punch me, because while you want to knock me out and knock me to the ground, you're going to punch me as hard as you can. Now, here's the culture and the context, the history that we don't realize. How important is the right hand in ancient culture? It's what you use for everything, right? It's also, remember, where did the people want to be seated next to Jesus? Where? At his right hand. Where was Jesus seated? At the right hand of God. Like throughout Hebrew culture, Roman culture is everything. The right hand is the power, the hand of strength. This shows like I have the power. Everything is my right hand. My sword is my right hand. It is authority, right? Whether it be my sword or my pen, right? The right hand is significant of everything. And so if Kevin is going to knock me out, he's going to use his right hand. But that's not what the passage says. Right. Because if he used his right hand, what cheek would he hit? My left cheek. But what does it say?
Whoever slaps you on your right cheek
hits me on my right cheek. So if he's going to hit me on my right cheek, what is he going to use? Actually, he's not going to use his left hand because you would never use your left hand, because what do you use your left hand for?
Unclean hand.
Unclean, all right? Yes. Every culture, there was no toilet paper back then. So your left hand was used for one thing and one thing only. And I'm a slave. I would never even touch a slave with my dirty hand. So I'm going to use what? And what does that signify? It's still the same thing as it means today. I can't use the word in here, but you know what I'm saying, right?
An insult. It's an insult.
Yes. And why is he insulting me? Because he's above me, because I'm just scum. I'm just an Israelite. So he's going to slap me open-handed. Open that up. And he's going to slap me on my right cheek. And what does it say after that? Turn the other one, right? So now I get hit. What do I do when I get hit? Wait, no, before we turn, before I hear these words, in my mind as a Hebrew, before Jesus says these words, if I get hit like that, if I get slapped like that, I have two choices as a Jew. What are my two choices?
Cower or fight back.
I can cower, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Kevin, please. I'll walk away. You just humiliated me for the dog that I am. Or I fight back. Then what happens to me? I die. Because if I lay hands on a Roman soldier, that is instant death penalty. And I don't have to wait for a jury. He pulls out a sword and he slices me to bits. So in the Jewish culture, I'm stuck with these two options. I cower away because he's the Roman soldier and I can't do anything, or I fight and I die anyways. Both of those are death penalties because one, what's the point of living if I'm just scum of the earth? And two, well, I might as well get it over with now and just cut me to pieces. But read it again.
But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also.
Now, I've turned my cheek. Now, who has to make a choice? And what choice is that? I just slapped him. He turned his cheek to me. Now I have a choice. You're standing up to me. Do I punch him or do I walk away? If I punch him with my fist, now what am I telling everybody that's watching?
He's worth it.
He's an equal. Now I'm no longer saying he's scum of the earth. Now I'm saying I punched him in the face and now he's equal to me. But if I don't want to do that, then I walk away. And then I tell everybody, he's above me. So in the audience is now saying what? What?
I just got my mind.
Essenes and two different groups. Like the Essenes would have wanted to fight back.
Is that what the psychobabble people call passive aggressiveness?
No, that would not be passive aggressive. That's right in your face. I'm forcing you to make a choice. So here, Yeshua now comes up with this teaching that blows the minds of everybody. And now instead of having just choice A or choice B, now I've been given a third option. That blows my mind. Next one.
Can I ask a question before the next one? I'm just confused.
Can I ask a question?
Maybe I missed
Go.
something.
Yeah.
So for the soldier, when you turn the cheek, it gives him another option. What is stopping him from just hitting him again?
He could.
Moving on.
He could slap him
Well, it was
again.
against the law, though. They weren't allowed to be abusive to, like the Jews were under them, but the Romans wanted people to live as they were, like in their own culture and stuff like that. But they were still beneath the Romans. But it was still against the law to just go beat up one, especially if they weren't doing anything to you. Like it's still like that wasn't a good thing to just go beat up Jews.
Even though I'm a Roman soldier, I still have to submit to who? Caesar. Caesar invades a land, and he kind of enslaves the people, but the Jews aren't enslaved, right? They're not in prison camps. They're allowed to work. They're allowed to go to their daily, practices. They're allowed to go to synagogue. Why? What does Caesar still need from Israel?
Taxes.
Money. Life hasn't changed. The world still revolves around money. I have power, but I still need your money. So I still need you to go out and do these things, but I'm going to allow my people to treat you poorly, but not too poorly. Because if I treat you excessively poorly, you all die and I get no money, or I treat you so bad and you revolt against me. Now, what money do I get? Now I have to spend money to bring more troops in to put you back in line, and now I'm in the red. So like there's this foreign policy and taxes and all this stuff it's like convoluted. It's way beyond black and white. So that's why, as Alex perfectly said, there are laws in place. I'm going to demonstrate another one here in just a minute, that the Roman soldier can do certain things, but they cannot go too far. Because if they go too far in Roman law, you could actually be punished to the point of being hung upside down and burned to death if you exceed your authority. So I know that I can't, if I punch you, now I'm in trouble. Now I can be court-martialed or I can be whatever. No different than the military today. Make sense? Okay. So read the second part now. What's the next one? That was punching.
If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let him have your cloak also.
Oh, you wanted to be the naked one. Come on up. No, I'm just kidding.
No hesitation. No hesitation.
No hesitation. I'm up, right? If anybody wants to take your cloak. Okay, so in Hebrew culture, there was only 2 garments that you wore. We were just talking about clothing with like fashion, shoes, and all this other stuff, right? And in Jewish culture, you had 2 pieces of clothing. You had an inner garment and you had an outer garment that you wore, and it was kind of like your work clothes, like your overalls, right? You get these dirty, you take them off when you come home, you can get them clean or whatever. But that's your outer garment. It also keeps you warm when it's chilly outside. You would wear these 2 garments every day. Somebody takes from you your outer garment, They sue you or they do something to you, and they force you to give them your outer garment. That's humiliating. What does he say then next?
Give him your inner garment.
Give them your inner garment, which then makes me what? Naked. Now here's the difference between Eastern and Western culture. In Western culture, where does the shame lie in nakedness? The person who's naked. In Eastern culture, where does the shame lie in nakedness? The person viewing the naked person. So you take my outer garment, say, fine, start taking this off, and what are you going to say? Do you want to see me naked?
Oh, I see.
You're like, no, put it back on. No, I don't want to see that. You're like, no, you asked for it. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you everything. Now, everybody's looking at you, and now you're shamed, right? So back to the first passage. If I am forced to take off my garment, I'm what? I'm humiliated, like I'm scum of the earth. He took my thing that keeps me warm. I cower away and I walk away. Or the second option, which is what? You took my garment? I'm getting a knife. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to get you. And Yeshua says what? No, just take off your other garment. Show him. Go ahead. I'll take off every garment. And then what happens? Then he has to say, just like the Roman soldier had to say, no. I don't want it. You keep it. I'm good. Here, have your other one back. I don't want anybody looking at me and the shame going on me like I'm an idiot because I made you take off all your clothes. Have it back. What's the audience doing now? Third one.
And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2.
I need you. Come on. Turn around. Put this on. Heavy?
Yeah.
How much you weigh?
68 pounds.
Okay, so this bag is about proportionate because a Roman bag would weigh anywhere from 75 to 100 pounds, a pack. And Roman soldiers would travel back and forth. Go ahead and keep walking back and forth, up and down this aisle. They would travel because they would go from one post to the next. They would go from one battle to the next. So that you're carrying, just keep walking back and forth. They're carrying this pack. And Roman law says you are allowed, if you are in an area, to have somebody else in that area pick up your pack because it's heavy. But Roman law says you can only have them travel with you. What did the passage say?
It's 1,000 paces.
And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2.
So 1,000 paces, or Roman law says you can only go 1 mile. But if you force a slave or you force a servant to go more than 1 mile, you force them to do this, what happens to you? Consequences. Court-martial. Death, maybe, because you abused the people who are paying your salary. We can't have that. So you can have them do this, but only so much. And what does Yeshua say? If they wanted you to take it 1 mile, then do what? Go 2. And then what happens? He's now over a mile. Whoa, stop, please. Don't go any further. Let me take this. No, don't stop walking. Would you just stop already? Huh? Give me some. Well done. The Roman soldier who was so tough, who was so strong, who was so demanding, carry this, is now saying what? Please stop. Just stop. Take whatever you need to do. Please just stop. The audience is now saying what? Because we live still to this day in this binary world where I feel like all I have is choice A and choice B. When we find ourselves in these situations where like I'm struggling and I don't know what to do and the world is caving in and my boss wants me to do this and I got to do all these things and I feel like I'm trapped in this position and I can't do anything, but maybe I have to quit or maybe I have to cower or submit to all these people and whatever and I don't want to do it, or I could fight back and blow up my whole career. But I'm so mad right now, I will just do something stupid and say something stupid. These are my only 2 choices. Yeshua says, no. There's always a third choice. There's always a third option. It's up to you, though. Which option are you going to choose? We live, next slide. I think I had a couple slides on here, but I might skip one because we're at the end here. I'll just make this brief. Go to the next one. So I was talking to my son yesterday, and I was telling him, the Knights Templar has been like on my mind for like 6 months now, and I can't stop thinking about it. And then I've been looking up different things and historians and, different bits and pieces, and I'm like, I've got to stop. I don't know why this is on my mind, but I have to put it away because I got other things that I'm working on. And I was preparing for a conference that we're doing in January, and I was thinking, St. Bernard. We're from St. Bernard. St. Bernard. Who is St. Wait a second. Who is St. Bernard named after? The dog, yeah, that's what I thought for a long time, right? The dog. What does the St. Bernard dog have to do with St. Bernard Parish? But it's not the dog. Who is St. Bernard Parish named after? What? St. Bernard. Bernard of Clair de Vaux of France. And I was like, okay, I've never heard of this priest before that became a saint. And so I start researching him and I start looking him up. And then come to find out, guess one of the things that he's known for? He helped start the Knights Templar. I'm like, my mind is like, wait a second, God, why are you doing this? Why? And I ask you to pray for me because I still don't know why. I don't know why this continues to come up and all of these things are just like burning inside of me and I can't put them away. And then all of a sudden I research something totally different because I want to know how to speak to the history of where we live, and they're connected. So I'm thinking through this and I'm like, okay, so I research Bernard and he creates this order of men, and he creates the order because there's a problem that's taking place. There are pilgrimages. People are traveling from all over the world to go to Jerusalem to see where Yeshua was crucified, to see the empty tomb, to see the temple. There are people that still to this day go to these same sites. They want to visit them. The problem is people were traveling to these sites and they were being robbed on the way. They were being slaughtered. They were being murdered. They were being taken captive. And so Bernard and the other people who have put this together said, we have to do something about this because the options are what? I go and I potentially die, or I don't go and I feel like I've lost what God said, come visit this place. And now I'm like, I never get to go this. And they said, no, we're going to create a third option. We're going to create a group of people who are like a private security force. So if you go, we will protect you from A to B. We will make sure that you get to go to the sites that you want to go to, and you will not be harmed. That's what Bernard did. He created a third option for people that wasn't about him, but it was for people seeking God. We currently live in a social media world where typically the voices on social media are, would you say negative? False sometimes? In some ways, for some people, I would even say it is evil. There is a message that is being exponentially pumped out into, I was going to say the airwaves. It's not that anymore. That's the old school. But it's being pushed out into social media for especially youth that is now shaping the way that they see the world. It's shaping the way I view right or wrong. It's shaping the way that I view truth. And it's causing people anxiety, stress. You've seen me show you the charts. It is causing problems with our youth. It's become the town square for a lot of people, or the news source of where I get my news, where I get my information. This is where everything that I know about what's going on in the world, I get it from social media. And isn't it odd? I don't know why it just popped in my mind. Was it Geico? You know, where the commercials where like the guy would say, oh yeah, I met this brand new woman, I'm going to marry her. She's a princess from Saudi Arabia and she loves me and so on and so forth. And the guy, his friend says, well, where did you hear that? Where did you get that from? And she said, it's on the internet. And the commercials were like, don't believe everything that's on the internet to be true. Do they make those anymore? They got the little guy, but nobody that says, hey, don't believe everything on the internet. Why not? Social media, somebody has said, if you get all of your news from social media, is worse than somebody who gets no news at all. Because how do you know what's true on the internet? And the internet, social media is what's shaping, especially youth today, their schema. You remember what that was a year ago? Mandy, you remember what that was? What is it? Shawarma, right? The schema is what you believe about yourself based on what you were told by your parents, your teachers, your pastors, your community. Your schema is what has shaped you over the years to believe this is who I am. Now today, people's schema is not being shaped by their parents or teachers. Now it's being shaped by social media. This is what I believe to be true. And typically that voice in my head for most people is all of the things that our brain connects to is the negative. Whatever negative things my wife said about me or my mom said about me or my teacher said about me, doesn't matter the good things, I'll always remember and latch on to the negative, and I hold those things. And so later on in life, when I'm struggling with something, the voices that come in my head aren't the, hey, remember when you accomplished this great thing, or you won that battle, or you won this championship? Remember those things? It's never the thing that comes up. What comes up? And when your dad said you weren't good enough? Remember when your mom said you'll always be a failure? Remember when that boss said, why are you here? You can't even do this? Those are the things that come up to the surface. And they tell us, you can't do this. As I looked at the Templars, I recognized to become a Templar, you had to go through this huge process of training. A huge process to break you of all the things that you thought you knew about the world and about yourself and about God. You could not become a Templar until you went through this process of absolute breaking and then rebuilding up to become something different. And a Knight Templar, if you've researched anything about them, they were the most fierce. They were almost undefeatable. They were almost like the Delta Force of the United States today. When you even say that word in the presence of, good guys, what happens? You kind of take wow, Delta Force. You say that in the presence of an enemy, you're like, oh crap, Delta Force. That was the way people viewed them. And guess what? That's the way they viewed themselves. Because they went through an entire process of being broken and being rebuilt to be told, this is who you are. Believe this to be true. And they went through a process, and it was very simple. They broke everything about them, and they said, we are going to live a simple life of work and a simple life of worship. And these are the two things that you're going to do every single day. You're going to work, and you're going to worship. I'm reading this, and my mind is blown. Because what am I thinking the moment I hear that? Alex, work and worship is found where? In one word. In what passage?
Adonai.
Not Adonai. It's close.
I'm not
Avodah. In Genesis 2, God says, I'm going to plant you in the garden. Next slide. So that you can work, you can till the garden. And we've spent years teaching on that word, that to work and to till is the word avad, abad, and it's the same word that is used for worship. God says, your job is to work and to worship. I don't know if Bernard knew this or just stumbled upon it, but he taught the Templars, your job is to work and to worship. That's it. As I'm going through this, I'm thinking Yeshua's words have to remind the people who are listening to this teaching from him of three things. One, very simple. As I'm going to teach you this, don't forget it. Remember who you are. Because remember, everything that Yeshua teaches doesn't just go back to Exodus, it always goes back to Genesis. And the first thing that we learn about humans in Genesis is what? Who were you created to be like? The image of God. Doesn't matter what your parents told you, your dad told you, your mom told you, your friend told you, how useless you are, weak you are, whatever, all these other things. All of these things, Yeshua said, yeah, I just gave you 3 things. You could cower away. You could fight. But remember, the image that has been stamped on you is God. You have an image of God. That is the reflection, and every choice that you make reflects that. God is not weak and does not cower. He's not angry and bitter and just going to destroy people because he's emotionally upset. No matter what you think, or no matter what people think about you, nobody can take that from you. The image of God is stamped on you. Number 2, never give up. Never give in to the binary choices. Never think, I can only do this or I can only do this. Yeshua's made it very clear. There's always a third option. Whatever you're fighting in marriage, you think, well, I can only do this or I'm going to yell at my wife and do this. No. There's always a third option. My kids did this, and I can discipline them this way, or I can just forget about it. No, there's always a third option. There's always a third option. I think we've made a lot of mistakes in history, and I think the church has made a very bad historical decision. They've created a binary choice. They said there is a sacred work and there is a secular work. And the sacred work is for the pastors or the priests. They're the ones who are sacred and holy, and they're doing the work of God. And rest of you people, you're just secular. You're just doing the lowly work. Guess where that's not found? In the Bible. Yes, there are priests. Yes, there are Levites. But that wasn't how it was designed to separate as like one group is holier than another group. Because don't tell anybody this. I'm just a man. I'm no different than you. I make mistakes. My wife's back there. You can ask her. I make plenty of them. There's nothing that separates me from you. God working through me is no different than God working through you. Me choosing to be obedient to God is no different than you choosing to be obedient to God. Me trying to make a difference in my parish and my community and with you guys is no different than you trying to make a difference in this parish with your families and everybody in this room. Everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The work that you do at your job can be spiritual. The work that you do at your job can be in worship to God. Everything is spiritual.
I think it's important, like work being bod, but and keep it is the word samar, which is to guard.
Yes.
So I feel like if you can figure out how to put your life in alignment correctly to work and worship at the same time, you can't have social media tell you how to do it. Like once you figure it out, you have to guard that, keep it, and spread it.
Amen. Very good. The third thing. Well, the third thing, I have a quote. Next one. That has inspired me for many, many years. It's from Roosevelt. He says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles." Isn't that social media? The one who wants to criticize everything and point out all the bad things and what this person said was wrong and that person, and it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly with errors, who comes short again and again. What do you do when you fail? Do you just give up? Do you just quit? I can't do this anymore. I want to run 20 miles, but I only made it 2, so forget it. I'm not running anymore. Because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive and do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who is at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Paul says, you were not created with a spirit of fear and trembling, but one of power. Yeshua says, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from being in the arena? Or are you just on Facebook? Father, we thank you for this morning. We pray for forgiveness. Forgive us of any ounce of apathy that we may have. Any ounce that is holding us back in fear of living out your commandments. Forgive us for anything that separates us from you because we've chosen to be disobedient. We've chosen to move ourselves away from you. Forgive us for anything that separates us from you. We wish, we desire, we yearn to be in your presence, to come near to you. I pray this morning that our hearts can be broken and that we can realize that we only desire to live in obedience to you. That you work through us, that you move through us, that you flow through us, and that you bring healing to those who are hurting. That you bring healing to the broken, to those who are struggling. Use us, Father, to bring about your kingdom. Each and every man, woman, and child in this room, use us to do your will. We choose to be in the arena with you. And we praise your holy name. Amen.